गाड़ी पता नहीं कैसे हमको भी लगता है, इसलिए हमको वो हमें एकदम नहीं लग रहा है। आप देखिए ना, अभी लग रहा है क्या जो हमको तो समझे बस गाड़ी तो अक्सर है अच्छा है।
So very good afternoon to one and all, and it's a moment of immense pleasure that the college is organizing a 5-day faculty development program on the use of tools and techniques in multidisciplinary research. In fact, we are living in the era of research, and gone are those days when we in fact do only the fundamental research. The fundamental research is equally important, but as we move ahead in the coming decades, then this fundamental research took into concept of the interdisciplinary research. And the interdisciplinary research, in fact, it started, as we say, in the 8th decade of the 20th century. And then we entered into the multidisciplinary research in the last decade of the 20th century or the beginning of the first century. 21st century saw this particular change. And we need a proper diversification of the work, the fundamental work which had taken place, the fundamental work which was laid down in the earlies of the 19th or the 20th century or way back, how we are going to apply it in the various fields that we have to see. So this multidisciplinary research does not take into account the only aspect of a specific domain. A person who's working in the area of science to take help in the area of technology or in social sciences. It's a very diversified zone, and you must be very much confined, or we must be having a broader knowledge of all these areas. We are not going to stop in that particular zone. Now, this, first of all, we try to understand that what research is. Basically, research is a process of systematic inquiry. When we perform research, then this research needs something which has to be addressed. What is research, in fact? The first thing is that you have to understand the domain, on what domain you're working. And for that domain, for that specific task, what you're going to perform, you must have entire knowledge of the collection of the data. The collection of data is not only a solution. The collection of data, how you are going to collect the data is very important. The scientific collection of data is important. And this scientific collection of data, it varies from discipline to discipline. If you come to the social sciences, then the collection of those data needs some questionnaire. If you move to the field of management or commerce, or if you move into the new development of a specific product, then it needs certain survey. So that collection of data again is the scientific, logical way of collecting it. Then when you have started collecting the data, or when the data is collected, then simultaneously also you have to document those information. Critical information has to be documented. The critical information has to be documented. And then what in fact, when the document you are going to collect, or what the information what you are going to, the information what you are going to document it, it must be in very scientific and a logical way. And then based on those data what you have collected and based on the information that you have collected, then comes the portion of the analysis of those data. How you are going to analyze those data, how you are going to interpret those data. After you have analyzed those data, then the basic question arises that how you are going to interpret those data or information. And for interpretation or analysis of those data, you need certain methodologies. Those methodology changes. If you're a student of humanities, then the methodology of analyzing those data again becomes important. That what way you are going to analyze this data. When you are moving in the domain of technology and science, then analyzing those data has a different methodology. So methodology changes as per the information, as per the data what you have collected, and as per the domain what you are doing onto that. And those methodologies are being performed by the researchers of the different fields. I will be exploring those ideas in a different way. So research basically is collective. They are the meaning. There is a systematic inquiry that collects the data, that documents the critical information, processes those data, and after analysis and interpretation of those data and information, you are adopting certain research methodologies by the experts of that domain to come out some with fruitful output. And this all processing what you have done is nothing but it is research. So research does not mean that only you are going to put up certain innovative ideas. When you are going to put up those innovative ideas, then the ideas what you have given that needs certain justification. And when you are going to give those justifications, then those justification need a proper documentation. So it is a logical way, step-by-step way of performing this activity. So research is in fact that. And when we come to the other aspect of is just switch off your mics. Many of them are with their mics on. So they are requested that kindly switch off their mics. Please mute your mics because it needs a lot of this. There's a chaos or a lot of sound is coming. Therefore, I request you to kindly mute, all of you kindly mute it. Please mute. Everybody is requested to mute all those. Yeah, still somebody has a lot of sound is coming. So please just mute it. Everybody is requested to kindly mute it. And Mr. Alvin Bakla, please mute it. And many more. Yeah, now everybody is fine because a lot of sound was coming. So when we speak about this research, so as I told you about research, then comes the concept of multidisciplinary research. So we have to understand basic thing about multidisciplinary research. Multidisciplinary research, in fact, takes into account, as the name is suggesting, that different disciplines comes together to come out with some fruitful solution of what it is. And this multidisciplinary approach of the different domains, maybe science with technology, maybe social sciences with humanities, maybe technology with this particular thing, with the medical technology and the physical technology, and what in fact are the other aspects that we have to state. So first of all, what is multidisciplinary research? That has to be taken into consideration. So I define multidisciplinary research in this term. I hope that the slide you are able to see it properly. So multidisciplinary research, when we speak about, it is a research techniques in which tools from different sciences and disciplines are used to find an explanation for the question being studied. I will give you certain example for it in the coming slides. So when different disciplines comes together, maybe that technology comes with science, maybe social sciences come with physical sciences, maybe social sciences come with humanities, maybe the commerce or management comes together with technology. So what we speak about, that it is a research technique in which tools from different sciences and disciplines are used to find an explanation for the question being studied. I've taken a particular problem, and that problem has to be solved out. And that problem needs a lot of cooperation, lot of investigation, and that investigation is not from a specific domain. I have to collaborate with people working in different streams or in different disciplines. So it is not only basically the word pronounces multidisciplinary seems to be simple, but it has a great challenge of teamwork, challenge of making the different scientists coming together and work on it. So this cooperative and coordinated research requires the unified effort of experts from different disciplines. They all, what they do, suppose that a humanity people is connected with social science scientists or with a technologist, and all three are sitting together to solve a specific problem. So there is a teamwork between the three researchers working in three different domains. They collaborated together with solving a common problem. The methodologies may be different. A humanity people have a different methodology for the data what he has collected, for the data what he is going to process. A social scientist is a different approach, and a technologist, maybe a medical technologist, or maybe an engineering personnel, he has a different technology. So different methodologies are being pulled together with the teamwork and to solve a particular problem. That is multidisciplinary research. I give an example of multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies. Now, if you see the multidisciplinary nature of the environmental studies, you may see all your notes also. You please see the notes. Then the multidisciplinary nature of the environmental studies. Environmental study, as the subject appears, it is just not a very simple way of solving a problem. Suppose we have a problem of environmental pollution. Now, when we speak about environmental pollution, it takes into account certain aspects. Noise pollution may be there, water pollution may be there, or different solid waste pollution may be there. Or when we go to the upper portion of the atmosphere, then it has another type of pollution. So the scientists want to eradicate the pollution, what is there. So when we are going to address the solution of the environmental pollution, then what is going to happen? So what streams are involved? The streams involved are basic and applied sciences, the first thing. And in the environmental studies, if you are going to see the basic and applied sciences, that means, suppose you are working on the environmental pollution, for example, noise pollution or water pollution, then when we speak about water pollution, then there are the creatures, maybe the animals or the different type of the species are there in water, river, whatsoever. So biology comes into picture. There may be the microbiological type of species available. So when we speak about this water pollution, then there is a mixture of what? Life sciences, the biological world, what is there in that specific zone, the river or the sea or the pond where we are studying, the living organism there. So we need to study that what is their life history. And if the water gets polluted, then what type of biological, what type of feelings or what type of distraction is going on in the life of that particular thing. So biologists are needed for that water pollution. Very same sign, not only biological, but when the water pollution is there, we have to measure the level of the pollution. What is the level of the pollution? Is it acidic in nature? Is it alkaline in nature? Therefore, physics comes into picture. Chemistry comes into picture. Then, when I'm speaking about the water pollution, the very same time when we come to noise pollution, then again, there are certain creatures which are there in the specific environmental domain, maybe on Earth or maybe in the sky. So biology is there. The physics study the what level of the noise should be there so that it exceeds the pollution level. So physical sciences are involved there. The biological sciences are speaking about the habitat or the living nature of those species there. What is the changes, what is going on in the living organism, whether they are on the earth or in the sky or in fact in the water. So there is some change going on there. But when we speak about the other aspect, that what is the level of the pollution, then this physics comes into picture. Chemistry comes into picture. Physical science. So biological science and physical science. Then what we do, we have collected the information that this particular domain, as specific, when you speak about a specific, for example, if we take river Ganga as a particular area which is polluted and we want to clear that particular, the pollution level of river Ganges, then we start tracing out right from Lakshman Jhula and onwards. The Rishikesh zone, Rishikesh, Haridwar, and Banaras coming on to West Bengal. So this is the area. So what is the change in the habitat of the living creatures in that specific river? There is biological change. Then comes the physics and chemistry there, and also the atmosphere changes due to that particular river, what it is going on. So that is going on. So physics, physical science, chemistry, and their biological science. Then the collection of the data, what we get it from both sciences, the physical science and the biological science, the information what we have collected, we try to develop a model. That these are the information, these are the parameters, those parameters are influencing a lot for making that particular domain totally, in fact, polluted. Based on those critical parameters, based on the data what we have collected, based on the information what we have thought of, we try to develop a model. So what you see, mathematics comes into picture. So biology, physics, chemistry, then mathematics come into picture. When we have modeled those particular parameters, the critical parameters, which are playing an important role for making the pollution, environmental pollution, we developed a mathematical model. And based on the mathematical model, now those parameters are critically analyzed. See the word, analysis of those data, interpretation of those data. Are you going to analyze it? So those parameters are being, the real data is being fed up with those mathematical model. And then based on those particular parameter result, it is being simulated. We give the values of those parameters. Mathematics give the value of those parameters, and then the process of simulation. As soon as we enter into simulation, it enters into the computer science. So what do you see? Geology, botany, chemistry, physics, mathematics, analysis of the data, statistics, then simulation. The data what is being simulated is what happening. It is now we are putting the different values of the parameter. It is being simulated. If the data is large enough, then again big data concept is taken into concept. So computer science comes in. What you see? Environmental pollution. I speak about pollution. People think that the government is there and the government will take out a solution for that. Very simple. ये सरकार की समस्या है, सरकार उसको आएगा और ये पर्यावरण में जो दूषित पर्यावरण है उसको ठीक कर देगा. ये छोटी सी बात नहीं है. वहां पर बायोलॉजी है, जूलॉजी, बॉटनी, वहां फिजिक्स और केमिस्ट्री है. आपने डेटा को इंफॉर्मेशन डेटा कलेक्ट किया, उस डेटा को मैथमेटिकल मॉडल बनाया, उस डेटा का आपने एनालिसिस किया, स्टैटिस्टिकल एनालिसिस किया और फिर कंप्यूटर साइंस उसको सिमुलेट किया. You see what multidisciplinary approach is coming into picture. But not the stoppage is not only there. Economics is there. If it is polluted, अगर कोई चीज यहाँ पर pollution हो गई, प्रदूषण हो गया, अब जहां प्रदूषण हो गया वहां की अर्थव्यवस्था चौपट. The economics plays an important role. What happens? People start flying. Wherever there is an environmental pollution, the highest level, then the economic analysis is important. What is the impact of that pollution in economics? When the people are flying, then the revenue goes up. So again, economics is there. Why the pollution is so much? Again, a big question. When the pollution is so much, it is due to the social behavior of the person who are living in that area. So sociology comes into picture. So we started with zoology, botany, chemistry, physics, mathematics, statistics, computer science, economics, and coming to sociology. What is the social behavior of those persons staying in that area? We have to understand the psychology, the social behavior of that person. That what is the social behavior of the person who are residing in that particular zone? We have to collect it. When we speak about that this is the social behavior, this is a city which is highly polluted, the economics is going down by down, the revenue is going down by down, we have to take certain stringent action. We are analyzing that. And when stringent action has to be taken, then law comes into picture. Law education. So law education, the law is again there. Now, can you imagine that what law has to do with environmental pollution? Because unless you put a stringent law that you cannot, that नालियां अगर बह रही हैं तो नालियां नदी में नहीं जानी चाहिए, प्रदूषण अगर हो रहा है तो उसके धुएं जो चिमनी से धुएं निकल रहे हैं वहां फिल्टर लगाएं जिससे कि प्रदूषण जितनी ज्यादा है उसको कम की जाए, अगर करते हैं तो आपको ये सजा मिलेगी. तो लॉ एजुकेशन, what is going on? You have collected the data, information you have collected, analyzed the data, and then accordingly you have understood that on this basis you have to take this into account. Now this is highly pollution. Now this has to be spread out to different area. That ये area बहुत प्रदूषित हो गया है, इन कारणों से ये आया है, तो mass and media is playing a role. So what you have done, आपने जो काम किया उसको लोगों के पास पहुंचाना है, तो mass and media communication to journalism, this has to come into picture. And when this is there, mouth से हम ये बातें कर रहे हैं, बात नहीं सुन रही हैं, तो electronic media, print media, social media, all this mass and media communication has to be spread out. Started with again zoology, botany, chemistry, physics, mathematics, computer science, came to economics, sociology, law education, management, mass media communication. And what is the solution? हम तो बोल दिया ये चीज बहुत गलत हो रहा है, यहाँ नहीं होनी चाहिए, ये नियम होना चाहिए, करना क्या है? This is a basic question. What you do? You have to take certain steps. Steps what? That you construct this type of bridges, you construct this type of new technology chimneys, you construct different type of the other aspects. That is, technology has to be taken into picture. We started with biological sciences, life sciences, came to physical sciences, came to mathematical sciences, then we entered sociology, law, mass media communication, then we entered into the technology. And this whole comes out with a solution for environmental. This is multidisciplinary. So it is not a simple thing. So if you're an expert in physics and say that I'm going to control this pollution on my own, no, you cannot do it. You have to take help of the biologists. You have to take help with the mathematician. You have to understand the social behavior of the person. You have to take help with the sociologist. What is the economics interpretation? You have to take the help of the economist. What technology should I adopt? You have to take help with the civil engineers. So this whole cooperation, the team management, will lead to a solution for controlling the environmental pollution, and that what needs the technology merging together with different type of peoples, and that in fact is the multidisciplinary. This is multidisciplinary. So you cannot, you only that I am doing this and I am going to solve out a real problem whatsoever exists is complex in nature. And for this complex nature of the real problem, you need different scientists. When I speak scientists, I mean to say different researchers of different domains coming together to come out with a solution for this specific problem. That is one example. I come to the another example. And the other example is now you see your lecture notes. Then this is the emotional dysregulation of adolescent decision. Now, when a child is developing and come to an adolescent stage, ये उम्र जो होती है इसमें बहुत तरह के इमोशनल डिसरेगुलेशन, जब बच्चा युवा अवस्था में घुस रहा है, एंड हाउ टू सॉल्व आउट दैट प्रॉब्लम. बहुत तरह की समस्याएं जो बाल्यावस्था से युवा अवस्था में जब वो बच्चा जाता है और उसके अंदर अगर कोई इमोशनल डिसरेगुलेशन है तो उसकी इम्पैक्ट क्या पड़ेगा और उसकी सोल्यूशन कैसे। लोग डॉक्टर के पास चले जाते हैं, डॉक्टर 2 दवा लिख दिया, भाई ये बच्चा थोड़ा सा कुछ दूसरे तरफ उसकी सोच है, पढ़ाई पर कम ध्यान दे रहा है, या उसके अंदर बहुत फीलिंग्स है, इमोशंस बहुत है जो नॉर्मल से अधिक हैं या कम हैं, तो उसकी सोल्यूशन कैसे की जाए। अब केवल एक मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर इज नॉट गोइंग टू गिव यू द सोल्यूशन। कोई डॉक्टर के पास चले गए, दवा लिख दी, इलाज हो गया, और क्या उसका ये परमानेंट सोल्यूशन है? तो वो भी नहीं। क्यों? जो हमारा मूड का डिसऑर्डर होता है, जो मूड की डिसऑर्डर है, या फिर उसके अंदर एंजाइटी हो सकता है या डिप्रेशन का शिकार हो सकता है, तो अगर वो मूड डिसऑर्डर में एंजाइटी और डिप्रेशन है तो उसकी कॉग्निटिव अप्रोच को हम लोग कैसे इवैल्यूएट करते हैं और उसमें क्या क्या मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच लग सकते हैं। तो अगर किसी के अंदर डिप्रेशन आ गया या कोई एंजाइटी का शिकार हो गया, तब वो कुछ भी कर सकता है। वो नॉर्मल जो युवा है उस नॉर्मल युवा के से अलग है, उसकी सोच अलग है, वो एक अलग दिशा की ओर जा सकता है और उसके अंदर रिस्क की भावना है, वो कुछ भी कर सकता है। तो उसकी रिस्क एंड अनसर्टेनिटी की क्या वैल्यूज होंगे वो कैलकुलेट करनी, उसकी वैल्यूएट करनी कि कोई भी अनिश्चित काम या कोई रिस्क, वहां डिसीजन मेकिंग, डिसीजन साइंस प्रेजेंट, रिस्क एंड अनसर्टेनिटी इवैल्यूएशन की जरूरत है। साथ में वो जिस परिवेश में रह रहा है, परिवार का परिवेश या उस सोसाइटी जहां पर रह रहा है, उसका क्या उस पर इम्पैक्ट पाया है। तो दैट मीन्स सोशियोलॉजिकल इम्पैक्ट को भी स्टडी करना। हमने उसके रिस्क को, उसके अनसर्टेनिटी को, डिसीजन लेने में वो दूसरे तरह का डिसीजन ले सकता है, और डिसीजन साइंस जो है वो इवैल्यूएट करता है उसके रिस्क और अनसर्टेनिटी के प्रोबेबिलिटी। एक तो डिसीजन साइंस में, दूसरा जब when he is studying, when he is at a specific sociological status, then what is the socio behavior, the society where he is studying or the society where he is living, then you try to understand that in that particular society what type of decisions matter are being taken into account. The third thing is that you go to a medical practitioner, you go to a neurophysician, and neurophysician is what? They are neuroimaging techniques. आपको जाता है वो सीधा डॉक्टर जो है वो बोलते हैं कि इसका न्यूरो इमेजिंग करना है, तो डॉक्टर्स के पास आपको जानिए। तो पहले कौन कौन से रिस्क को इवैल्यूएट किया है, अनसर्टेनिटी को इवैल्यूएट कीजिए, उसके सोशल बिहेवियरल साइंसेस को स्टडी कीजिए, और उसके बाद मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर्स उसके न्यूरो इमेजिनिंग जो होती है उसकी टेक्निक्स को यूज करके उसके ब्रेन को स्टडी करके और तब वो दवा को लिखता है। तो आपने क्या देखा? आपने डिसीजन साइंस को देखा जहां पर स्टैटिस्टिक्स का यूज हो रहा है, हम इवैल्यूएट कर रहे हैं रिस्क और अनसर्टेनिटी को। आप उसकी सोशल एंड बिहेवियरल एस्पेक्ट को स्टडी कर रहे हैं, मतलब उसकी साइकोलॉजी को और उसकी सोशियोलॉजी को स्टडी कर रहे हैं। आप न्यूरो इमेजिंग टेक्निक्स यूज कर रहे हैं, मतलब मेडिकल साइंस यूज कर रहे हैं। तो जब हम इमोशनल डिसरेगुलेशन एडोलसेंट की चर्चा करते हैं तो केवल ये मेडिकल प्रैक्टिशनर की बात, मेडिकल टेक्नोलॉजी एक चीज, सोशल बिहेवियर, सोशल साइंस दूसरी चीज, थर्ड द साइकोलॉजिकल स्टेटस, फोर्थ द क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रोच, द स्टैटिस्टिकल एनालिसिस ऑफ दिस पैरामीटर। So these were the club. Then you come out with a solution to find out the reason for the mood disorder or anxiety or depression. So that is where we go into this multidisciplinary approach. So again, एक छोटा जो मैंने कहा कि जब युवा अवस्था में पहुंच रहा, कुछ उसकी एंजाइटी होती है, डिप्रेशन होता है, That is not the problem of the medical practitioner. Only if you need a problem, if you need a particular solution for this complex problem, then you have to get in touch with all these scientists together to come out with a fruitful output. That output is multidisciplinary. So what happens now? When you go to the statistical analysis of giving the input to the uncertainty and risk, then the collection of data is different. And when you come to the social behavioral approach, कि वो लड़का किस सोसाइटी में रह रहा है, उस सोसाइटी में कैसे कैसे लोग रह रहे हैं, उस परिवार में कैसे कैसे, then you again start collecting the data as far as the sociological aspect is concerned, and the collection of data, analyzing the data in that aspect is again different. The statistical collection of data, interpretation of data is different, and the sociological aspect and the psychological aspect of collecting and analyzing the data is different. And third, the medical practitioner data. Based on the different output of the disorders, the medical practitioner again takes a risk. He analyzes those data again. So what you see, there are three different domains, four different domains working together, who are collected the data by different approach of their own domain, analyzing by using their own methodology, coming with a common solution that we can come up with. That is again a teamwork for multidisciplinary. This was the second example. Third up, this is the era of artificial intelligence. Without artificial intelligence, nothing can be solved out. We are having multiple intelligence. Multiple intelligence is speaking. Artificial intelligence ki techniques chali, that is artificial general intelligence. So when I speak about artificial intelligence, everybody is thinking computer science into artificial intelligence, computer science is there, finished, nothing to do. But no, artificial intelligence is not only computer science. अगर आप गूगल में कोई किसी चीज को सर्च करते हैं एक बार, दो बार, तीन बार, और चौथी बार जैसे ही आपने एक लेटर को लिखा, वो पूरा का पूरा आ गया आपके पास. That is artificial intelligence. The key is there. आपने कुछ लिखा भी नहीं, सारी चीजें आ गई. The intelligence is not artificially intelligent. How artificial intelligence plays an important role? Artificial intelligence has three important components. Three important components. First component, अगर diagram आप देखेंगे in your lecture notes, artificial intelligence has system neuroscience. The first component. The second component is computational science. And the third one is human cognitive science. Three components of artificial intelligence. Basic components. System neuroscience, computational science, and human cognitive science. Now we come to one. That means artificial intelligence is not only computational science, but it takes into account, do see the word system neuroscience. When I speak about intelligence, our brain, only 5% is explored. हमारे इसके अंदर क्या है, ये केवल 5% ही ये लोग जानते हैं. 95% ब्लैक बॉक्स है. People do not know what is there. केवल 5% पे ही आपने सोचा कि हमने लिखना और आप लिखना शुरू कर दिए. ये फास्टेस्ट थी. आप सोचते हैं और ये काम हो रहा है. You don't know that what is happening. आप सोच रहे हैं मुझे जाना, उठ के चले गए. See how fast the action is there. You are sitting idle and you think that I will write, and you start writing. This is the function of the brain. Now, when I speak about artificial intelligence, then you only type certain letter, it comes into picture. in your web search. In your search engine, it automatically comes. So it speaks about system neuroscience. System neuroscience has different components. The first component is neuroengineering, just like brain. So the brain, in fact, has different way of thinking. दिमाग में अलग अलग चीजों को सोचने की अलग अलग तरीके. When you think something, when you do something, it is engineering in aspect. So neuroengineering is there. Artificial intelligence, when I'm speaking about system neuroscience, the neuroengineering is there. Whatever you think, it comes into picture. That is to be mapped in your search engine in Google. आपके ब्रेन की मैपिंग वहां पर हो रही है by identifying different critical parameters. So neuroengineering is there. Then comes behavioral neuroscience. What you are doing in search engine? सर्च इंजन में आप सर्च करें कि मुझे इस तरह के जूते चाहिए, ऐसा जूता चाहिए, आपने सर्च किया. What the search engine is doing? Please इसको ध्यान से सुनिए. सर्च इंजन इज स्टडीइंग योर बिहेवियर. ये आदमी एक्स है. कहां पर हैकिंग होता है मैं बता रहा हूं. Where the hacking is there and how computers or the hackers understands your behavior. आदमी एक्स है, मैंने इस आईपी एड्रेस में ये साइन किया. Everybody is having mobile, having their own IP address. वो आदमी दिन में क्या क्या काम करता है. He types, हमको जूता चाहिए, कपड़ा चाहिए, ये सब कपड़ा चाहिए. और वो उसकी बिहेवियर हर 2 दिन में वो टाइप करता है. वो फेसबुक में जा रहा है, वो ट्विटर में जा रहा है, वो अगर सोशल वर्कर है तो सोशल डिसिप्लिन को बहुत स्टडी कर रहा है, कहां पर क्या क्या घटनाएं घट रही हैं. हर आदमी अपनी बिहेवियर के हिसाब से सर्च इंजन में वो सर्च करता है एंड कंप्यूटर स्टोर्स दोस इनटू दिस एंड देन द कंप्यूटर इज एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड योर बिहेवियर. ये आदमी इस तरीके का है जो पिछले 1 महीने से ही सर्चिंग ऑल दिस टाइप ऑफ क्रिटिकल पैरामीटर. Therefore, this person is sociologist in nature, or he is technologist, or he is criminal, like that. So, what this behavior is said to be? This behavior is said to be behavioral neuroscience. Artificial intelligence को छोटी चीज नहीं, वो पहले आपका न्यूरो इंजीनियरिंग किया, आपके सोचने की क्षमता कहां तक है उसको स्टडी किया. मेडिकल साइंस को आपकी बिहेवियर क्या है, व्हाट इज योर साइकोलॉजी, ही स्टडीज दैट एंड देन इट इज बिहेवियरल न्यूरोसाइंस. देन कॉग्निटिव न्यूरोसाइंस. इफ यू सी द पिक्चर देयर, द ब्लू वन, दैट इज कॉग्निटिव न्यूरोसाइंस. टॉप वन, टॉप लेफ्ट, नीले में जो बाईं ओर सबसे नीचे, कॉग्निटिव न्यूरोसाइंस. एंड द राइट वन इज कंप्यूटेशनल न्यूरोसाइंस. Whatever you have thought, it calculates those thoughts. The data is large, the information is large, the parameters are large, and based on those such is able to compute those things. This whole 4, that is cognitive neuroscience, behavioral neuroscience, neuroengineering, computational neuroscience, comes under system neuroscience. That is one component of artificial intelligence. The other component is human cognitive science. अभी तक मशीन की चर्चा कर रहे थे, अब आदमी की चर्चा कर. मशीन ये सब जान गया ना. ह्यूमन कॉग्निटिव साइंस, न्यूरोबायोलॉजी, ये आदमी है. Now what he thinks, what he does, what he is in fact doing, all these aspects neurobiology. Means when you are going to develop a specific software using artificial intelligence technique, then you have to understand the neurobiology aspect. Only writing a program and commit out of a solution that has used this technique Without studying the biological aspect, you cannot be an expert in artificial intelligence. That is the neurobiologist. Second, language science. Professor Jugal was speaking about language and literature. Language, he said that it does not need to learn technique. Or literature. Literature do not need to learn techniques. When there is love, when there is romance, when there is sorrow, when there is certain things, then what is happening? There is a change in the behavior of the person. There's a change in the psychology of the person. If you see Daffodil, he spoke about William's Wordsworth. He says that he loves that, he laughs on it. And the same other poet on the Daffodil speaks something that is in sorrow. The same daffodil is there, but it has changed the psychology. It has changed the behavior, that how you are looking into that aspect. As a scientist, I will say that it has a lot of tools and techniques. What tools? The tools is emotion. Emotion has different parameters. What parameters are there? What is the psychological behavior of that person? What is the geographical domain of that particular area? What is the philosophical thought of that person? And what he is feeling when he's observing that. एक आदमी किसी एक चीज को देख के 10 दृष्टिकोण दे सकता है, तो वो चीज आखिर है क्या जिसपे 10 दृष्टिकोण आ रही है. So therefore the techniques are there. What tools he is going to use? He is going to understand the emotion of that person. He is going to understand the psychology of that person. He is going to understand the behavior of that person. He is going to understand the philosophy of that person. Therefore, it is an emotional setup. So, language science plays an again important role as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. That if he's from the Asian country, then you must know, when you are developing a search engine, you must know the aspect of the different aspect of the philosophy of language. Then obviously philosophy comes into picture. Not only philosophy, but psychology. As I told you, that a poet X is laughing on the daffodils, a poet Y is crying on that daffodil. Therefore, psychology changes. मुझे देख के कुछ लोगों को खुशी हो सकती है, कुछ लोग रो सकते हैं. आदमी तो मैं ही हूं, लेकिन उसकी साइकोलॉजी है कि मेरी बिहेवियर को देख के और मेरे द्वारा बोली गई चीजों को देख के या तो वो गंभीर है, या हंस रहा है, या रो रहा है. That depends upon the psychology. So being an artificial intelligence expert, you must have a deep knowledge of human cognitive science. And human cognitive science comprises of neurobiology, language science, philosophy, psychology. Then the third component is computational science. The computational science is comprises of many things. What in fact is computational science? The mathematics is there. If you see natural science comprises biology. The biological sciences are there. Computer science is there. Applied mathematics is there. And then effective computing is there. So being an artificial intelligence expert, you must be expert. Or if you're developing a search engine using artificial intelligence technique, then you must take into consideration these different scientists together, work out in coordination to get some fruitful result. Alone, I'm a mathematician. I may know computer. I may know biology. I know some aspect of language. But can I develop a search engine? without taking into consideration the different critical parameters of those different domains, which comprises the fundamental idea of artificial intelligence. That is multidisciplinary. So, when I speak about and the way of collection of the data, the information is different, the interpretation is different, the analysis is different. A person of humanities may interpret a data in a different way. A technologist may interpret a data in a different way. The methodologies are different. The collection of the data methodology is different. A social scientist, a sociology person can collect a data in its one way. An economist can collect a data in a different way. And to analyze those data, he has a different methodological approach. So these scientists must come together, work on those data, collect those data, process those data by their own different methodological approach, work on a simple problem, work on a same problem, that complex problem, to come out with a possible solution. And that, in fact, is research. Since this research consists of multidisciplinary nature, therefore it is multidisciplinary research. Now I come to business. Many of you are from management and commerce, so you will be interested in that area. So again, if you are a commerce person or a management person, and if you think that I in fact want to develop a specific product, then that particular product, how we are able to go on it. We have to come out with that particular product. The modeling of that particular product is there in the market. That product has to be launched in the market. And what type of the business research you have. So first of all, that product must be sustainable in nature. When I speak sustainability of the product, then it is highly technological in aspect. That must pass through the statistical quality control, SQC. It must go 4 sigma or 6 sigma. It must be competitive with the different aspects. It must be having a good economic analysis of that product. Suppose you are taking mobile, a new mobile comes into the market, a new product is there, and that particular product has to be launched. Then what type of business research you have to do it? The first particular thing, that sustainability should be there. And the product what you have developed must be highly competitive in nature with the other products. And that is what I'm speaking, that it should be competitive with other products. That means the technology you have taken. You have made a market survey. You have collected the information of what. If you see a country like India, a diversified country, where in different geographical domain, different aspects are there. The people in the far northeast, they have other demand. The people who are in the south, they have other demand. Those who are on the top of the northern side of India, they have different demands. Collecting the information of those particular zone, processing the data, processing that information by the own methodology. So the product developments becomes very. When you develop a product, then you have to take into picture the survey. And collecting the information itself is a big challenge. And then those data, those information, those parameters, what you have collected, there is mobile 1,000 models are available in the market. You are coming with 1,001. The 1,001 mobile, when you are coming one with, then doing a lot of research on that. You have to develop a model. These parameters are influencing for making that product sustainable in nature, making that product more economic than the other, what is available? It needs a lot of money to identify that fact. So statistical analysis, sociological aspect, geographical aspect, survey of collection of data, commerce is there, management is there. So what you see, economics is there, computation is there. So this is a mixture of everything. The new product which comes into market again needs a lot of research on it with different type of the domains, and it is again a multidisciplinary. Now come to geography. Now I take an example of the border dispute between Karnataka and Maharashtra. It's a border dispute, what is going on. Now, a politician alone cannot solve all this. He has to take help of whom? Karnataka is a different zone. Maharashtra is a different zone. So when they are different in nature, then their culture is different. The Kannada people have their own culture. The Marathis have their own culture. That means you have to understand the sociological behavior of the person residing in these two states. Sociology comes into it. Not only that, when I speak as far as the language angle is concerned, the people of Karnataka are speaking Kannada, Maharashtra people Marathi, and they have their own different way of their tribes. The person who are residing in that particular zone have their own way of living. They have their own language. They have their own tradition. That means anthropological study is important. So sociology, anthropology. Now Maharashtra and Karnataka, border is obviously political study is important. That what made what made the dispute in nature? How political, because those different states have the different political phenomena. They have different, Karnataka is having different type of approach. Maharashtra is having different type of approach. They have their own way of thinking. So political science comes into picture. And then the history of these two states. Different culture, different region, different history, both are traditionally rich. So a politician who wants to solve a problem of Karnataka and Maharashtra issue, he must take help from the sociologists, anthropologists, political science people, geography people, history. So when all these come together, and the way of collecting the information by an anthropologist is different by the way the economist or the political science people is collecting the data. He is processing the data in a different way. He is in fact using different methodologies for those data and finally coming out with a particular solution. You have to club this solution to come out with a solution for the border dispute of this. You see again geography, if a person is geography and if he says that I am geographist, I am able to do this, you cannot. You must have knowledge of all, you must cooperate with the team members and come out with this. Now, transport geography. Speaking about the political dispute, it's a transport geography. Now, just imagine an example of Indian Railways. Train moving from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Konkan to Tripura. Now, lakhs of people are traveling. What in fact in the geography of transport you need? You need the information of the passengers. You need the information of the different type of flights. you need the information of the different type of travel mechanism. So information you need for the passengers, information you need for the flights, information you need about the other aspects. आप ट्रेन में सर्वे करे जा रहे हैं तो आपकी उम्र भी पूछता है, आपका नाम भी पूछता है, आपका जेंडर भी पूछता है, पैसेंजर का इंफॉर्मेशन होगी। हमने कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी जानी है तो बहुत सारे ट्रेन से बहुत सारे रूट्स हैं, उसकी भी जानकारी होनी चाहिए। एक छोटी सी चीज लगती है, टिकट बैठे टिकट कटवा लिया, ट्रेन पे सफर कर लिया, लेकिन उस ट्रेन पे सफर करने के पीछे कितनी बड़ी रिसर्च है, इट नीड्स ऑल। द फर्स्ट थिंग इज इंजीनियरिंग, railway tracks. For example, I'm taking Indian Railways. Now the bullet trains are coming. The tracks has to be modernized as per the technology. The speed of the train is very high, maybe 300 kilometers per hour. Today the train is moving with 100 or 150 kilometers per hour. So engineering aspect is there. The environment plays again an important role. What environment that is plays into role? I move that side, upper side. The environment, that means you are moving from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Now you are moving from a place of the northern side, which is pretty cool in nature, and you're moving towards Kanyakumari, crossing all the area of the cold region, the moderate region, and the hot region. The environment is again playing a role. You must have the environment knowledge of it. When you're constructing a railway bridge or constructing a railway track, then whether the environment suits for construction of those type of things is again important. If you're making a road in the region of Leh, very difficult. If you're going to the Thar desert, making a road again is difficult. So what type of environment is there? You have to take into account the environment experts. Now, mathematics and computer science. We have identified the different parameters. We have to develop the mathematical model based on those parameters, analyze those data, and then you have to simulate those information. So again, mathematics and computer science play. When people travel, they take into account whether it's air or by road or on train. So the economics play an important. That what type of fare is there between here and here, here and there. The economics is there. Sociological demography is important. The historical aspect is also important. Based on this, you have made a planning policy. Obviously, starts with technology. Technology, engineering, environment, mathematics, computer science, economics, sociology, demography, history, planning and policy. So what you see, that even when you are making a timetable for Indian Railways, it's a big task in which decision science is there, artificial intelligence is there, and many more other things are there. So when we speak about the transport geography of a transport system, we have to take into consideration the domain of all these researchers. These researchers of different domains must come together to come out with a solution for making it very, very. This is multidisciplinary. Okay, I will not go into the more of all these. Now, we have done research. And when we have written a paper, a research paper, for whom you have written a research paper? The research paper has been written for the development of a society, for some new innovations. And that research paper must be read by most of the people. So it must have certain impact. The research impact should be there. So the research impact can be defined as the global effect that research has on what? Society, culture, environment, and economy. And you only don't write a research paper. When you write a research paper, it has to be circulated so that many of them read those particular research. And it is being evaluated based on the metrics, what is there. Calculate the metrics. And you must have an impact of that research. That what you have, the innovative idea, what you have given, must be read by all of them. आपने बड़ा सुना होगा कहावत, जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा? जंगल में मोर नाच लिया, किसने तो देखा नहीं। वो मोर को तो सबको देखना है, नाचा तो कैसे नाचा, क्या नाचा। आपने रिसर्च पेपर लिखा, ऐसे जर्नल में पब्लिश कर दिया जिसको कि केवल आप पढ़े या आपका गाइड पढ़ा, उसके बाद वो रिसर्च जर्नल बंद, क्या फायदा हुआ? उसे तो कोई नहीं जान रहा। तो आपने जो पढ़ा, जो लिखा, दैट मस्ट बी नोन टू द ग्लोबल कम्युनिटी, पूरी दुनिया उसको जानना चाहिए। तो कहाँ पब्लिश करें, कैसे पब्लिश करें, उसका इम्पैक्ट कैसे हो, ये सब चीजों पे आज हम लोग इस पे चर्चा करें। What is happening? The next 1 second, please. Okay. Back. 1 second, please. Oh, shit. One second, please. So, research impact, how you are able to get it. So, you must have citations for your work. Citation means that how many people have read your work and how many people while working on your work has given proper weightage of your work. When I'm writing a paper, I have read your paper, and in the references, I have given your name. That means my work is being cited. So therefore, you must have the garnering citations are important. Secondly, if you have written a paper and nobody has read it, then it is a garbage. कूड़ा है वो। आपने पेपर को लिखा जिस जर्नल में, और आपके काम को ना किसी ने पढ़ा और ना आपके काम को साइट किया, वो कूड़ा है। आवश्यकता है कि आपके काम को किन किन लोगों ने पढ़ा और पढ़ने के बाद आपके काम को उन्होंने साइट किया कि नहीं, वो महत्वपूर्ण है। और आपने किसी ऑडियंस को टारगेट करके अपने काम को लिखा है। मैं काम कर रहा हूं मान लो साइबर क्राइम पर, और मैं साइबर क्राइम पे काम करते हुए अपने काम को पब्लिश करता हूं, तो हम किसके लिए लिख रहे हैं? हम मैथमेटिशियंस, स्टैटिस्टिशियंस, कंप्यूटर साइंसेस और जो साइबर क्राइम पे काम करें उन लोगों के लिए लिख रहे हैं। अगर वो लोग ही मेरे काम को ना पढ़ेंगे, ना मेरे काम को रेफर्ड करेंगे, तो मेरा काम क्या है? पूरा वो गार्बेज है। सो द टारगेट ऑडियंस के ऑब्जेक्टिव के हिसाब से काम होना चाहिए। कैसे हो? तो आप जिस पेपर को लिख रहे हैं उसकी टाइटल प्रॉपर होनी चाहिए, रिसर्च टाइटल। इट मस्ट हैव अ प्रॉपर टाइटल। आपने क्या काम किया उसकी समरी अच्छी होनी चाहिए, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट। द इम्पोर्टेंट द वर्क व्हाट यू हैव डन मस्ट बी रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट एंड इट मस्ट हैव गुड कीवर्ड्स। कीवर्ड्स अगर आप पेपर लिखते हैं, 3 चीज बहुत जरूरी है। द टाइटल मस्ट बी क्लियरली रिफ्लेक्टेड, देयर मस्ट बी प्रॉपर एब्स्ट्रैक्ट and the keywords should be there. राइट जर्नल चूज करें। मैं काम करता हूं मैथमेटिक्स में और अपने पेपर को पब्लिश कर दूं मैं मेडिकल साइंस के जर्नल में, तो मेरे काम को कौन पढ़ेगा? मैं काम कर रहा हूं इकोनॉमिक्स में और अपने काम को मैं इंग्लिश के जर्नल में पब्लिश कर दूं, तो उसको कौन पढ़ेगा? तो चूजिंग रिसर्च जर्नल इज इंपॉर्टेंट. यू मस्ट डिवोट टाइम फॉर चूजिंग जर्नल्स. आजकल जमाना ओपन एक्सेस का हो गया है. 2000 के पहले, माने ये शताब्दी जब शुरू हुई, तब अच्छे अच्छे जर्नल्स जो हैं वो चार्ज करने लगे रिसर्च पेपर्स. और आने वाले दिनों में 10 वर्षों 20 वर्षों के बाद ऐसा समय आएगा जब जो भी द रिसर्च पेपर यू आर पब्लिशिंग विल बी चार्ज्ड फ्रॉम गुड जर्नल्स. आज भी बहुत जो टॉप जर्नल्स हैं दे आर आल्सो चार्जिंग. देयरफॉर ओपन एक्सेस होता है. तो आप अपने पेपर को कहां, किस जर्नल में छापे वो जरूरी है. चूजिंग राइट जर्नल. जर्नल इंडेक्स्ड होना चाहिए. इंडिया में यूजीसी ने निकाला है यूजीसी लिस्टेड जर्नल्स, या वो लिस्टिंग में जर्नल्स होना चाहिए. यदि ये वर्ल्ड बॉडी में जाते, यूजीसी केयर लिस्ट ए, केयर लिस्ट बी होता है. केयर लिस्ट ए में मैक्सिमम इंडियन जर्नल्स हैं. केयर लिस्ट बी में वो जर्नल्स हैं जिसको वर्ल्ड बॉडी रिकॉग्नाइज करता है. जैसे आप साइंस के हैं तो आपकी जर्नल साइंस साइटेशन इंडेक्स्ड होना चाहिए, एससीआई. अगर सोशल साइंस के हैं तो एसएससीआई, सोशल साइंस साइटेशन इंडेक्स. थॉमसन रिव्यूटर्स साइंटिफिक बॉडी है वर्ल्ड का जो इंडेक्सिंग करता है जर्नल्स को, जिसको पूरी दुनिया माने. खून का रंग लाल है सब जानता है, लेकिन आपका खून A+ है, वो जांच होने के बाद होगा, तो उसको एक इंडेक्सिंग मिली है. तो जर्नल्स की भी इंडेक्सिंग. लोग छाप देते हैं जहां मर्जी आए. तो वही कहानी हो गई, जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा. तो आपके जर्नल्स साइट इंडेक्स्ड होनी चाहिए. किससे? इंडिया में है तो यूजीसी केयर लिस्ट ए में, और वर्ल्ड बॉडी में छाप रहे हैं तो आपको साइंस साइटेशन इंडेक्स, सोशल साइंस साइटेशन इंडेक्स, मेडिकल साइंस के हैं तो पब्लॉन्स में साइटेड होना चाहिए, या स्कोपस इंडेक्स्ड होना चाहिए. स्कोपस इंडेक्स दो तरीके के हैं, पेड और अनपेड. आने वाले 10 वर्षों में जो ट्रेंड चल रहा है सभी पेड हो जाएंगे. तो ओपन एक्सेस मतलब आपने पेपर को सबमिट किया, एक्सेप्ट हुआ, इमीडिएटली इट गेट्स सर्कुलेटेड, तुरंत सर्कुलेट हो गया, मतलब आपके काम को दुनिया तुरंत देख रही. तो सिलेक्शन ऑफ जर्नल्स इज इंपॉर्टेंट विच मस्ट बी इंडेक्स्ड, एंड इट मस्ट बी स्ट्रिक्टली इंडेक्स्ड in SCI, SSCI, Publons, Scopus, or if in India, UGC care list journals minimum. अगर नहीं है तो पेपर को पब्लिश मत. Basically, people are doing PhD to only get the to do PhD, get the degree. वो डिग्री का क्या फायदा कि जो आपने काम किया उस काम को कोई पढ़ा ही नहीं. Your papers must be published in good journals. You must be cited. साइटेशन कब होगी? जब जर्नल अच्छा है, जिसको वर्ल्ड बॉडी रिकॉग्नाइज कर रहा है, और लोग उसको पढ़ेंगे, पूरी दुनिया पढ़ रही है, आपके काम को भी पढ़ेंगे और आपको साइटेशन देता है. और साइटेशन के मापदंड का क्या तरीका है? वो H इंडेक्स और I10 इंडेक्स है, जिसकी चर्चा मैं बाद में करूंगा. आपने पेपर को पब्लिश कर दिया, पेपर एक्सेप्ट हो गया है, स्कोपस पे पब्लिश है, या SCI में है, या SSCI में है, या पब्लिक में है, या फिर यूजीसी केयर लिस्ट में है. आपको भी मेहनत करनी होगी. आप केवल फेसबुक में फ्रेंड लिस्ट को मत पढ़ाएं. आपने जिस पेपर को पब्लिश किया उसको सोशल मीडिया में, फेसबुक में डालिए, व्हाट्सएप में डालिए, ट्विटर में डालिए, जिससे कि वो सब लोग जान सकें कि वो उसके इंटरेस्ट का. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग अबाउट हाउ कैन यू इंक्रीज द रिसर्च इम्पैक्ट. You try to make the video abstracts to target digital media. There are certain publishers, just example, Science Direct, Springer. They say that once you publish your paper, give a video abstract. Publisher ही बोलता है, Springer में paper publish कीजिए, Taylor Francis में paper कीजिए, Wiley में कीजिए, या Science Direct में कीजिए, या IEEE में कीजिए. So they say that make a video abstract of it. Once the publisher get the video abstract, they put it in the different social media, so that people understand that what you have done on it. The PP, the whatever graphs or the pictures you do it in animated graphs should be there. You start blogging, केवल कहानियां लिखना नहीं है, blogging करना शुरू करें. Press release and conferences करें. आप published a paper, that public paper deals with this, उसको press and media में, conferences में दे, जिससे कि maximum audience हो सके. This is where What basically is a research impact? इतनी बातें मैंने रिसर्च की बारे करी, इसकी इम्पैक्ट क्या है? Julie Bailey, Director of Research Impact at the University of Lincoln, defines research impact as provable change of research in the real world. आपने जो रिसर्च किया उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या है? Very simple way, the director of the research impact of University of Lincoln says that provable change of research in the real world is the real impact. That is what the research impact is. How you will be able to have impact of the research. First, understanding and awareness. That means the problem what you have taken and what you are going to do for the others, you must try to understand. And you must aware the people that I have taken this problem and this problem is going to be solved through this methodology. Attitudinal. That means your research must help to lead to change the attitude. Attitude of what? Not the human behavior, but the attitude of the scientist, the attitude of the fundamental concepts what have been developed, the attitude of the other workers what they've done. This is a change what is going on. Economic. That means your research should be in that way so that it must be cost effective. Or you must get enough research funding for it. You must be able to generate revenue for it. Suppose you have developed a patent. Once you develop a patent of your work, then you get some monetary benefit. So therefore, there should be economic for that. Environmental. That means the research what you are doing, it must arises for what? For the conservation of the ecosystem. आप जो भी काम करें, बड़ी सिंपल भाषा में डॉक्टर कन्हैया ने कहा, देखिए कभी कभी लोगों को लगता है कुछ कहते नहीं, लेकिन बड़ी बातें बहुत छोटी सी चीजों में करते चले जाते हैं। इन्होंने कहा कि रिसर्च ऐसी होनी चाहिए जो संस्कार, संस्कृति और जमीन, जंगल, जल को बचाए। And that is what the 10 points of the research impact is. कि आपका रिसर्च ऐसा होना चाहिए कि एनवायरमेंट उससे बेनिफिट हो, इकोनॉमिक हो, उसका एटीट्यूड भी चेंज होनी चाहिए, अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए, आपके रिसर्च के द्वारा हेल्थ एंड वेलबींग होनी चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाट द रिसर्च इज. इट शुड बी डेवलप्ड अ पॉलिसी. आपने कुछ ऐसा काम किया जिससे कि प्लानिंग एंड पॉलिसी डिपार्टमेंट फ्रेम्स आउट विद अ पॉलिसी ऑफ इट. और रिसर्च इम्पैक्ट क्यों जरूरी है? A focus on impact then helps us ensure the best possible return from the investment that we as a society are making. यही तरीका है. अब हम research impact, how we are able to achieve the research impact. So research mobilization is important. आप mobilize करें, research mobilization होनी चाहिए. और कौन से चीजों को रिसर्च मोबिलाइजेशन होनी चाहिए? तो if you see the picture, first is that it should be reached. Reached means that that means what the work you have done, it must reach the audience, target audience. It must reach the target audience. And when it has reached the target audience, when it will reach the target audience, that the discovery what you have done, or the audience what you are going to reach, that must be discovered for the discovery what you have done. हमने जो काम किया वो काम किसके पास जाना चाहिए, इसकी डिस्कवरी होनी चाहिए. The thing what you have discovered must go to the research audience, and discovering that research audience is also important. हम माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में काम कर रहे हैं, तो मेरा ऑडियंस माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में कहाँ है उसकी भी डिस्कवरी करना मेरा काम। और तब जब मैंने वो काम किया, पब्लिश हो गया, SSCI जर्नल में हो गया, तो उनके पास वो काम कैसे चला जाए जिससे कि आपके द्वारा किए गए रिसर्च का मैक्सिमम बेनिफिट उनको हो, ये जरूर। You must be able to connect them. You must be able to understand. That means engagement is important. And when the engagement is there, then there is a change. And when the change, you try to apply that. And then you will be able to get the impact. Otherwise not. I was speaking about H index and I-10 index. So when I speak that, this must have, oh, sorry again, I have. Sorry. 1 second. So your work should have more impact, and yes, the H index and I-10 index. Before I come to H index and I-10 index, I must try to say something on that. All the researchers, established researcher or the new researchers, they must have an author ID of Scopus. Scopus author ID is free. Everybody must register on Scopus author ID. Everybody must have a Google Scholar profile. Everyone must have ORCID account, ORCID. ORCID account, everyone must have. So a researcher must have a researcher ID, must have a Scopus author ID, must have a Google Scholar profile, must have an ORCID account. All the established journals these days, if you don't have an ORCID account, then you have to generate it, and then accordingly you will be able to submit the paper. So these 4 things every researcher must have, which are free available. You have to log in there. You have to register there. ORCID, ORCID, Scopus author ID, researcher ID. These all everybody must have. What is then H index? So if you see the left picture, there is written H index 21. This is I-10 index 48. How you are able to calculate it? This is my profile. I have H index 21 and I-10 index 48. H index is the number of publications with a citation number greater than or equal to H. That means if you have 15 publications and it is cited 15 times, then your H index is 50. If you have published 2 papers and it is cited 2 times, each of them 2, then your H index is 2. If my H index is 21, that means 21 of my research papers are being cited 21 times. And if you see my total number of citations, it is now, it has coming close to, it has crossed 2,500 now. Means 2,500 people have cited my work. Why they have cited? Because it is being published in journals of high reputation. So H index is what? The number of times people have cited your research paper is your H index. Therefore, I was speaking about research impact. And then you will be identified as a researcher. People will be able to know that you have done certain work. And what is I-10 index? I-10 index is the number of publications with at least 10 citations. अगर आपने कोई काम किया हो और किसी पेपर का कम से कम 10 बार किसी व्यक्ति ने आपके काम को साइट किया है तो उसका आइटम इंडेक्स 1 हुआ। अगर 9 बार किया तो नहीं, 10 बार किसी काम को, आपके पेपर को किसी ने साइट किया, आइटम इंडेक्स हो गया 1। तो 48 आइटम इंडेक्स है, मतलब कि ये 48 पेपर को कम से कम 10 लोगों ने साइट किया, हर एक को 10 कम से कम 10 से ज्यादा भी। तो ये आइटम इंडेक्स एंड एच इंडेक्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द रिसर्चर्स। और ये कैसे होगा? तो आप गूगल स्कॉलर प्रोफाइल बनाएं। आपका कोई भी पेपर अगर इंडेक्स्ड जर्नल में छपा है तो गूगल अपने आप उसको अपने स्कॉलर में देगा। यू मस्ट हैव अ गूगल स्कॉलर प्रोफाइल, यू मस्ट हैव अ ऑर्सिड अकाउंट, you must have a Scopus account, you must have author IDs, etc. So this was about H index and item index. And well said in 1937 by the Nobel laureate of medicine, Albert Yorgi. He said that research is seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody else has thought. जो सब देख रहे हैं वो मैं भी देख रहा हूं, और जो मैं सोच रहा हूं वो किसी ने नहीं सोचा, वही रिसर्च है। So thank you so much. If you have any query, then you may ask both online and offline. So that was today's lecture on, if you have any, come to the direct screen. So we can address your queries. That was a general talk on multidisciplinary research. Coming days, we will be having different researchers working in different domains, speaking on the methodologies of their work. So we have technologists, people from Birla Institute of Technology, Ranchi, the university people, that means we will be having science people, technology people, social scientists, humanities people who are working in that area. So if you are able, if you have any queries, then you may ask, and if you do not have any query, then we may come to the conclusion of this session. Tomorrow's session will begin at 10 a.m. and will end at 6 p.m. There is one change in the evening session. We have an online lecture of Professor C.B. Gupta of BITS, Pilani, Rajasthan. So if you have any query, everybody is invited. You may ask certain questions. The whole screen. Yes. Screen presentation. So I do hope so that none of you have any query.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
I ask one question, sir.
Pardon, please.
So when I'm creating a Google Scholar account,
Yeah.
then one field, one information is given, means a university ID. Sir, it is possible for any means any scholar to fill this area, because this area ID is
Yeah,
not
it has to be
generated.
authenticated by the university or the institute what you have been affiliated with.
Yes, sir, but this is the confidential for university, not shared by share for
Not
research
shared by
scholars. So
anyone.
then,
Is university ID means university is providing you the email ID. ID means email ID.
email ID, then also
At the
ask
rate
for password.
vbu.ac.in,
Yes.
if you are a VBU student, Vinoba Bhave student, then you must have a university email ID. Then it will be authenticated by that. Personal email ID are not being authenticated by Google profile, by Google Scholar.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So the researchers are requested to get their user ID, email ID from the university.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
Sir, one more question.
May I know who is speaking?
Sir, I'm Malti Kumari, researcher of Bimal
Yes. Okay.
University. Sir, you said that create a Scopus ID and ORCID ID. Sir, Scopus ID also asked for user ID and password.
Yeah,
But
user ID.
if I'm
You
collecting
have your
user
own
ID,
email ID.
then how?
If you have your
Is
Gmail,
it-
your Yahoo ID, it can be done by that. It is
So
not.
user ID means any institute or university, and also ask for password. So password is not shareable.
You register first of
Yes,
all.
sir. Yes,
Not
sir. I'm
first you
trying for
register.
registered, sir.
Yeah, you first try to understand what I'm saying. That you first of all register, you create your own user ID and password.
Okay,
And
sir.
then once you are registered, then in login, they ask you that user ID and password. It is not for Scopus and ORCID or any other that need university email account. Your Gmail, Yahoo account will work.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. I will try, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you so much for this first session. And I hope that in the coming sessions, we will be having more fruitful input of the different research domain. Tomorrow, we have 4 lectures from the technology side. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.